Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your
Hey y'all!
nose.
Welcome to
Witty Witty Banter. I'm Monica.
And I'm Paola, and today we have a spicy takes episode.
All right.
Lord!
It's going to be a lot because this is the actual last episode of this season. We come back in January, and we're super excited for that opportunity. I know you wanted to shout out some names.
I do want to shout out all of the listeners who have engaged on our YouTube channel. I took some screenshots of everybody who commented
All right.
throughout the 19 episodes that we have recorded this season. Today is episode 20. It's the season finale, y'all.
Woo-hoo!
So, we're going to do a little tiny 2024 recap because y'all know this year has been crazy.
And then some newer topics that we hadn't really discussed, but they were in the, I guess, the chamber for us to kind of just let go of.
We had to, let some things go off of our chest
at this point because we're about to be in the new year, and I don't want to have anything with me.
I don't want to bring in the baggage of 2024 to 2025, girl. No, bye.
All the spicy takes.
Bye, girl. We gonna stay demure and mindful.
There we go. And that's one of them too.
But let me get into the shout outs to all the people who have been keeping up and listening to every single episode, or you're just now listening to our podcast. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
We do really appreciate all the support and love. And just to let y'all know, it makes my day when my friends are like, girl, I tuned into your podcast. It's amazing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Thank y'all so much for letting us know, because we do this every week.
Yeah,
we are just being ourselves, and this is our first time ever doing a podcast, so
yep.
It really does mean a lot, and it helps us stay motivated and encouraged to keep going. So here we go with the shout outs. Thank you so much. Ford Muscle Luis 9710. He's been commenting on pretty much every episode. We Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Javon Walker _Walker. Hey. Thank you for tuning in and commenting. Crossover 7576. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love and the comments. Shout out to It's Tejano Time.
Hey.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it, y'all. Hey. And then thank you so much to Gan Start and G. Enela Musa 7647. They tuned into Alejandro Terra's interview, so thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
And then these are from our first episode comments. I'm gonna read these just because they're the first ones
that ever happened.
So grateful. Rock Your Nails, my girl who does my nails, she said loved hearing the stories.
Nice.
This is from DJ Pink Hendrix. He said, love it. We got some emojis from Brittany Kurgat Music. She put the little celebration, hand claps, and the purple heart, our iconic purple heart.
Nice.
And then we have Jack _TK. He said, I'm so sorry it took me so long to finally get here. Because I am a Sabor Puro's #1 fan. Hey, I think I know who this is.
Your people now.
My people. He said, let's see what all the talk is about. And then he said, weedy. So shout out to all of y'all for tuning in and commenting. So sorry it took me forever to go through these. It's like, with all of the different apps and all of the different things, you're like having to manage.
It can be difficult.
Finally got there. And you know what? I think that's what we'll do at the end of every season.
I think
Just shout out everybody who has
almost
commented.
like a wrap of the whole, how Spotify does the wrap thing.
Girl, yes.
So we had this many likes, this many dislikes, this many comments,
this many shit talkers.
No, because I know y'all are out there. I know y'all love the podcast, but I know some of y'all are just like, well, if it was my podcast,
I would do it.
Which we thank you for the advice too, because we did get a lot of good critiques and good advice as far as, continuing on with our podcast. I know there was a couple of technical difficulties. And so a lot of people came forward and were just like, here's just an idea of what you can do. And so I do want to say thank you for that. it is super important for us to get critiques in some type of a way because we're performers.
Absolutely.
We know.
Absolutely. And we take it to heart. We don't necessarily, get hurt by it because we're so pretty much used to that type of critique, but we do take it to heart and we do try to implement those critiques and that feedback. So thank you so much for sending that our way. But, we love to harp on the love and all of that. So thank y'all again from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in, engaging with us, and we're not going anywhere. We're just taking a little break.
Right. We also are starting our search for our sponsors for Witty Witty Banter. And so as you see the episode today, you'll see that Theory has created a nice little area where you could be one of our sponsors for sure.
Yeah. And so we're going to have certain price levels to where you can donate so that you can support our venture as podcasters. And so that way we can support our technician Theory and support this growing community as well. So we will be posting that on our Instagram as well. And if you have a small business, a restaurant, or you are just an individual wanting to help us out, please reach out and we would love to stay in communication with you. We will, like Monica said, have advertisements sliding through our episodes coming season 2. So be on the lookout. If you want to advertise through us, we definitely want to support you in that way and have that collaboration with you as well.
Yeah, we're super excited for that.
But yeah, before we get started on our spicy takes, I feel like we haven't caught up in like ages.
I know
we've been promoting our Christmas collective, which will be December 19th.
Which will be today, ultimately.
Yeah, today, pretty much. Yeah, you're right. It is tonight. We start the market at 5 p.m. and then we are performing with Runaway Sky, with David Tribble, Alejandro Terra, Eddie, and Michael Nguyen. And we are going to be doing a Christmas collective of Christmas carols, and so we're all preparing and singing all of these songs, and I'm excited.
I'm excited too. It's time to get into that Christmas spirit. I know that I was just like, let Thanksgiving happen, and it happened, and so now I'm just kind of like, okay, well maybe now it's the time.
Maybe now that we have like less than 10 days.
Like a week, right? Almost. And so I'm super excited to be with you on the stage. This will be the first time since high school.
Since high school, bro. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So the first time since high school that we've actually gotten to perform together. And then, of course, the music is going to be a mixture. It's going to be a mixture of English and Spanish. There's going to be some very, very Christian hymns that we do, but there's also going to be Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We also have the Grinch making his appearance this Thursday,
And Santa Claus.
And Santa Claus, yes. And then also we have spoken word that's going to be happening. Michael is actually supposed to be starting off with "'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And I'm super excited for that because that's like one of my favorite traditions to see or to hear it.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be good. But I think we've been so caught up with the promoting of it and talking about it, and now it's time to just catch up a little bit.
I know.
And so much has happened within this last week.
So much has happened. I just want to do one more shout out. I want to shout out KXT 91.7 and Jessica Waffles for featuring Sabor Puro on the radio
for the very first time, y'all. For the very, very first time. So I was able to kind of catch the live where she listened for a straight hour.
Yeah, it was my first live ever. I was nervous. I was kind of scared. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you know what? I just recently got on TikTok, like maybe 2-3 months ago when we started our podcast, Instagram, and social media venture. And you know how TikTok loves to push them lives out.
Yep.
So I'm over there scrolling and I'm just like, oh, dang, another ASMR video. Oh, dang, okay, another live ASMR. Okay. And I just kept seeing all these people with like lights in the back and like just curating their own vibes.
Yeah, and yours was a complete vibe. Like you had the lights too.
Yeah. So I just tried to like, all right, what are people on TikTok doing?
Where can I get my inspiration? Where can I go with this? But it was really cool. And I'm glad I got to at least make it on time.
Girl, yes, we closed out the show.
Yeah.
We closed out the show. And here is some behind the scenes scoop. So if you tuned into the show, there were a few technical difficulties that happened throughout that hour. We weren't able to hear the first song that happened. Maybe like the first 2 or 3 songs. I thought I did something wrong because I was like, I just connected it to the speakers and then it went off, you know, and it was just like, hey chat. We good? Y'all listening too? And everybody was like, nah, girl, we can't hear anything either. So I was like, all right, let's talk. I don't know what's happening, but we're gonna hopefully be on the radio, you know? And so I literally had just called it. I was like, guys, I think we're gonna close out the show.
And that's when I joined the live too. I was like, let me go ahead and support my friend.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things happening that night. So I was like, crap, did I miss it? And then thank God, because I was like right on time.
Yes, you were right on time. And so I'm like, yeah, guys, I think we're closing the show. And I was like, throughout the whole live, I just had to say I have 0 rights to any of the music. I don't have any rights to the music except for
your song.
My song, Estrellas Brillantes. And the billionth time I said it, I was like, I don't own the rights to any of the music except for, and then the song came on. I was like, Estrellas Brillantes. And so, of course, like, there's a moment I was like trying to show my screen to show like what the radio station looked like, because when your song comes up, your cover art shows, and then it has like your name and your band name. And I was like so excited to see our cover done by Raimi. Thank you so much, Raimi. Appreciate it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cover art. And so I really wanted to show off, you know, this cover art, and it didn't show. And I was just like, oh, and in my live, I'm like, okay, maybe not show that. Oh, let me put my phone back down.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, that's interesting. You know, technical difficulties, didn't even worry about it because I was like, you know what? We're on the radio.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And so I was still super excited. But turns out that our song ended up getting like the system, just how like the first 2 songs didn't play at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The last like few songs were kind of tripping out too.
Oh.
And so the radio host, Jessica Waffles, messaged me and she was like, I am so sorry your song didn't get to play today. Like, I was really excited to close the show with this. Like, thank y'all so much and all this stuff, right? And I was like, girl, what you talking about? Like,
it was
did
on.
play. It did play. What do you mean? And she was like, oh my gosh, it did play. You're right. It did play. But basically, like, I guess the radio station has a queue that they upload the songs to prior to the show so that it just plays seamlessly.
Yeah.
And so somehow the system had booted out some of the songs.
Yeah.
And she thought our song got booted out, but the cover art just was the thing that wasn't showing on the radio station.
I see. Yeah.
But our song continued to play because the host of the show after the Homegrown music show, he somehow was able to integrate our song back into the system so that it could go into his show. And so I thought we had that there was like another like song after our song, but turned out that it was just because like the system kind of malfunctioned and like she wasn't able to close out the show. Like we didn't hear her closing remarks because usually she'll talk about the artist and then she'll talk about the song and you know, little snippets, and we didn't even get that as an audience from the show.
Yeah.
And so, it turned out that somehow our song was able to play that night. And it just like kind of messed up the cover art. So I was like, well, you know what? When there's a way, there's a will, there's a way.
There you go.
God was like, no, you gonna be heard on the radio, girl. Like,
no, for sure.
So definitely super thankful and just like so excited because that was like the cherry on top of our year with Sabor Puro. Like you guys know, we were the State Fair resident artists. We got our first single out. We got to collaborate with AT&T Performing Arts Center with their Listen series and record Mil Gracias.
Yeah.
Currently working on the cover art for Mil Gracias so that it can drop next month. Yeah, it's just been a whirlwind of things. Quit my job, and God was like, "Yes, girl, that's the way to go. This is the direction you need to be going in." And He's just been affirming my decision from the beginning. And yeah, just feeling really grateful, really happy.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you because, and I sent you that text too. I was like, girl, you did it. You have accomplished a lot of your goals that you've set out for this year specifically. So very, very nice.
Yes. Okay, so I saw that you went to an event.
I did, and it's the first Grammy event that was actually in Dallas. They're usually all across the United States, most of the time when it's the Texas charter, because there's different members groups, right? The Academy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that to me because I'm not a part of the Academy chapter here.
So I'm actually a member of the regular Grammys and also the Latin Grammys. Okay, and so I'm able to go to a lot of different events. And I actually got to have this opportunity because of Grammy U. And Grammy U is basically where you find it on specific university campuses. So DBU was a Grammy U school. I don't know if it still is. But you would go to like little mixers and parties and really just network with people. Yeah. But it also gives you the right to vote within the Grammy nominations and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people will sit there and say it's all about who you know and who you work with. That's very true. Yeah. And
Jordan on our episode last week was saying you're just a connection away.
Exactly. So it's all about connections. And for me, and I'll be honest, I'm not usually one to do all of the networking only because of the anxiety of the whole thing. Because it's not just within your genre. You have different genres within the same chapter.
Right.
And the Texas one is huge. Like really, really big.
Not even surprised.
Yeah. And then you have people from California, from Tennessee, from New York. Like you have different people that have their own chapters within their state, but they'll come to the Texas one because it's bigger. And
that makes sense.
During South by Southwest, they have one during that weekend or during that week where they have one specifically for all of the recording members. And then the next day they'll do a women's luncheon in the same area. Cool. Never gone to the women's luncheon only because we always just go and come back.
Yeah.
But
it's a quick trip.
Yeah. But I did have a really good time at the Christmas member party. It was definitely cool to see some of the people that I actually work with. So shout out to Vanessa Ayala. She was there
she was
too.
On here too.
Yes, Vanessa. Shout out to Carlos Alvarez, Sunny Sacera. There was so many people there. I want to give a big shout out to Sam, who was in charge of Diosas en Tejas, which was the project that we did. It was her baby, so I wanted to give her a big shout out.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and then of course I saw some of my colleagues within the Tejano industry, so shout out to Angelica. She's been doing the damn thing. Okay, she's been doing it.
Period.
But within the last couple of years, she's gotten Best New Female Artist for her Tejano Music Award.
Wow.
And she kicks butt, and she plays all different types of genres like myself. So she'll have a English cover band, which is called Velvet. And then she also records in Spanish in Tejano. Nice. So she's up and coming. She's really, really good. I got to bring my brother with me because he thrives in these kinds of environments. And for me, I'm just like, have you ever seen the movie The Devil Wears Prada?
No, actually. I should, though. I should.
Yeah. So I asked because in the movie, the main character is like a fashion designer. She's really renowned, really well known, but she always has her person next to her to tell her who the next person that's coming up to her is. That's my brother. So ultimately, like, let's say I've had like a meeting or like I've had an encounter with these people, but because as years go, you don't see them all the time, right?
Girl, that's a hack.
Yeah. And so my brother was like, that is the next, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, how's it going? Like, I may know their name, but when it comes to like how we know each other, that's where things get a little.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I might have to scout somebody.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like people come up to me and like I recognize them and I know them.
Like, you know their face.
But it's just like, where do I know you from?
Right.
And if I had just had somebody to be like, oh yeah, you met this person 6 years ago.
Yeah. No, for real. It is like that. And so, and he's also in the know of like who the current president of the Grammy charter for Texas, because
cool.
Carlos was actually the former. And so when we got to work together, I was like, dude, like this is going to be awesome. And the EP is going to be great. And, big shout out to him because we're about to start the next part of the EP in January. So I'm getting back into the studio.
Is it going to be named Tres as well, or do you?
It'll probably be Tres Part 2.
Tres Part 2.
So we'll see.
5.
Right.
3+2.
I'll start doing it like how Adele does it and just go by the age, No, but it was a good event. We had a really good time. We met a lot of amazing people. For me, if it was up to me, I would just be singing. Because I can talk. Yes. I'm really comfortable with talking, but sometimes it's not always easy when there's so many people like just in the same room. And we were at the Kessler Theater, and the Kessler is not super extremely big with the amount of people that were there.
Right.
So I had a really good time. I just was anxiety'd out the majority of it. So
woo!
Yeah, but we were happy because this is like the first event they've done in Dallas. And they're talking about coming back at some point. Deal. So Dallas is going to definitely grow with that opportunity. So
yeah, and the arts is thriving right now in Dallas, and hopefully we can bring that energy over here to Grand Prairie too.
Oh yeah. So. Oh yeah. I don't see why not. This is a big enough place.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So before we get started, I do want to point out this is not ping pong paddle.
Not a little ping pong paddle.
So tell them the idea behind this.
Okay. And this is why we need sponsors, so that I don't have to make, this little tiny craft, and we can actually get them made nicer, and you can actually read what it says on here. The red one says "witty witty bad," and then the green one says "witty witty good."
Yeah.
And the idea behind it was because this is our last episode, not only of the season, but of the year 2024. And so I kind of wanted to do a little recap of 2024. We're not going to cover everything that's happened in 2024 because Lord
there's
have
so
mercy.
Much.
I'm already breaking out in hives. I don't need more hives. No thanks. So this is our 2024 recap, and also saying like, was it witty witty good or was it witty witty bad that happened? So
I love it.
Just,
the name,
just little game, a little segment here before we go for the year.
Yes, and you have all the topics that we've talked about.
I do,
and a couple of new ones, like I said at the beginning. So,
oh my gosh, guys! So remember how one of our episodes didn't have audio? That was witty witty bad.
Yeah.
But in that episode, we talked a little bit about what was happening in November, like the Wicked movie coming out, and the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, the Sabrina Carpenter Christmas special, which I still haven't seen, but I want to watch.
I've seen bits and pieces.
You've seen it?
I've seen bits and pieces. I kind of wanted
to do a little like blind reaction with us.
Yeah, that would be good.
Y'all, she lives hella far. And
ever since I moved, right?
Not kidding.
One of these days.
But I do have a list of topics that we're going to rate, whether they're witty witty good or witty witty bad.
Yes.
And I'm just going to go down the line.
Okay, so where are we starting off?
I'll put it down. We're going to start off with Wicked.
And if Theory had one of these, he would also agree. Because we've all finally seen Wicked. It's been out for about 2.5 weeks now.
Almost a month, yeah.
So many nominations for this movie. But what really surprised me was the quality of the singing, the quality of the music. I listen to the soundtrack all the time and annoy the hell out of Marco because I'm just like,
dude, tell me why Christian listens to the soundtrack more than I do.
It's good. It's so good stuff.
Good.
Like,
we're like, every time I'm in his car, because I listen to podcasts, that's like a lot of the times what I'm listening to, and like when he likes something, he will listen to it on repeat. The same thing with me. If I have an album that I love, 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 like it'll be on repeat for like the next month.
It's incredible.
And so it's the same idea. And he's had that soundtrack even before the movie. He was listening to the original soundtrack because we didn't have access to the the soundtrack. And so he was listening to the original song. So he's like, I've never seen Wicked before. Like, I don't really know what it is. And I watched Wicked when I was like in 8th grade. Like,
and I've never seen it either. I've never seen it, never heard it.
Like, that was my personality for like a good amount. Like, you remember how I was like, yeah, I love stories about like people who like don't judge people by the cover, right? By how they look or like how they are, like Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. That's why Beauty and the Beast was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. And so Wicked resonated with me because it had the same idea of like, don't judge the person by its cover. Like Elphaba being green doesn't necessarily mean that she's an evil person. Yeah. Type of thing.
And ultimately to see the different movie arc ultimately, because when you watch The Wizard of Oz, that's who you see as the antagonist, you know, and that's what we've been taught for years to think. And so ultimately Wicked kind of puts its own little spin on basically Elphaba, which is the character that's in green.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
Not Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, Cynthia Erivo,
who is so close to getting EGOT status. Now, if you don't know what EGOT status is, it is Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. All she's missing is the Oscar. So, and I don't see her not getting
an Oscar. She has to get an Oscar because she did her own stunts, first of all, and she is singing while she is being suspended in the air.
Yes, like, and for the people that don't believe that, you have to watch the behind the scenes stuff because there's a lot of that out there. She retrained her breathing so that she could do these stunts, and you know, it's incredible. I think the only other person that I know that has EGOT status is Rita Moreno, who was in West Side Story. Yeah, so I mean, congrats to her. I know that there's a lot of crying. I know that there's a lot of emotions that go into it between Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. But when you go and you watch the movie, you can understand why.
You know why, yeah. And it's like, no matter what realm you are in, whether you're in business, whether you're in the arts, whether you're in education, you can appreciate the amount of hard work and dedication it takes. And just put yourself in their shoes. Like, maybe you're not an artistic person or ever want to be in Broadway, but if you had a corporate like job to do and like putting on such a production for whatever it is, you would be crying too. You would be so excited. You would be so happy to share this with the world.
I left with no makeup on my face. Yes. I showed up with the full face and none of it was there by the time I left the movie theater. And that's what me watching it twice and crying twice.
Yeah. When did you cry?
Oh,
because I cried during the hat scene and they were dancing.
Yes,
I was just like,
dude.
And then whenever you find out that they didn't rehearse that scene,
yeah, no. So ultimately, for me, I'm just an emotional bitch. That's just all it is. Sorry, Dad, but but ultimately, I'm just very emotional as a person, and so I connected really a lot more with Elphaba's character because I had always felt outcasted and different, and not because like other than just being myself, and then trying to prove that I don't care what anybody says as far as like hurtful things. And that scene very much shows, because you'll see Joshua Bailey's character, and he's like, she doesn't give a twit about what anybody else thinks, and Ariana Grande can see through that, or Glinda's character. And it's like, damn, that's hard because you know that you try to put your best foot forward with people and you try to like make sure that you're strong. You don't care what people think. But then you'll have that one person that knows you from where you are.
Yeah, on a deeper level too.
Yeah. So it was a very emotional movie. The ending was so powerful. Like, it's bad. Yes. That was terrible, but it's but it's one of those things where a movie, it's either gonna make or break a musical, and this one just like
it elevated it. I was not upset with like the creative direction that they took,
dude.
adding different elements, adding different techniques to the singing,
Yeah.
adding new songs to the musical. Like,
Yeah, that's a spoiler we can't give away.
yeah, no.
But y'all got to go see it.
Yes.
But let me tell you, Jonathan Chu,
Mm-hmm.
who is the director of the movie, has come up with many different amazing other movies, like In the Heights. He also did that one. They made the sets realistic as possible. So the scene, the opening scene where you see all the poppy flowers or all the tulips, they planted them. The sets were built.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the sets were built. They try to use as little CGI as possible because obviously with with certain things you have to use it. But the sets are built. All of the music is live. All of the singing is live. So I think they did an incredible job.
Yeah,
I mean,
incredible.
without a doubt,
100% like recommend this. I back Ariana Grande, sent the Arrivo up on this press tour because even though they are very emotional, it's just something that they've put a lot of work, 2 years of their lives in. And through those 2 years, there's a lot of shit that went down with Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater and that whole drama, you know.
We deserve each other, me and Bach.
I love it. That's like been stuck in my head. Oh, so bad.
No, but ultimately, there's been some controversy with that. He was a married man with the newborn, basically, and then, ultimately they became a thing. Yeah. But I think at this point in time, like, if there's anything to take away from the movie is that it healed her a lot from all of the past trauma. And you can tell.
And I think that's why she is so emotional because she's still processing that. And like me processing my trauma and all that shit, like even when I do bring it up, even whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I'm past this, I'm healed, I feel better, like I can talk about this openly now. And then I try talking about that openly and then it's like, oh, never mind, I'm still crying. So like I completely understand why they are so emotional, and I love that they have each other to like lean on each other and just support each other. Because they're both powerful women, but that just shows that even though you're an independent, powerful woman, you still need community and you still need to have those people in your corner that are gonna be there no matter what. Yeah. And I think that that's a beautiful representation of what friendships, womanhood is, and I love it. I think it's a great representation for the arts.
And mind you, it's just part one.
I know, part one. There's still a part two.
Yes. So then the part two has actually been confirmed, the name Wicked for Good. I'm going to be crying my ass off. I remember doing the songs, like definitely Defying Gravity was one of them and For Good was the other, but never knew the context of the story. So now actually like seeing it play out, I'm like, okay. Yeah, this is hitting a little bit harder now that I'm 30 years old and have gone through some life experiences and
have lost some friendships. And
it's
gone a different direction.
It's crazy. And so some of that I was kind of feeling too with Defying Gravity. I think that's the part that was hurting me the most.
I hope you're happy.
Yes.
Every time. It's like,
stop. No more.
Okay, well, we're just going to stop talking about Wicked. Y'all need to watch it. If you haven't watched it yet,
go.
You better watch it. Go right now.
I'm about to go watch it again.
Stop. Press pause right now. Go to the movie theater and watch it. Okay.
And then come back.
And then you're going to be like, yes, girl, I agree. You're right. You're right.
All right.
But we're moving on to a not so light topic here. And we're just bouncing around. We're not going in chronological order whatsoever.
And if there's some of them that we just kind of like, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, we're not going to deep dive into all of them either because then we're going to be here for like 2 hours. So the next one, the Diddy and now Jay-Z accusations. Yeah, those were really bad. An update, because we did cover this in one of our Spicy Takes episodes. One, there's more allegations towards Diddy.
Yep.
There's children involved, women involved, men involved in the case now. And when we first released the episode with what was going on with the Diddy trials and everything, I wanted to put the focus on the victims. And a lot of people are now seeing like, oh yeah, we should defend and protect the victims at all costs. And I bring this up because JC is now being accused of the R word and SA and all this other
Of
stuff
children.
of children. And one of the alleged accusers was 13 at the time, and she went on NBC News, started saying stuff, and people have now found like holes in her story. So people are like, man, she's lying, and kind of defending Jay-Z. And so I just want to point out that when there is trauma, your brain literally blocks out the traumatic event, and it can also block out some of the details of what happened, when it happened, where it happened, who happened. Like,
because you're trying so hard to heal from it. Once you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your body and your mind can't handle some of the detailing that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, it tends to block those things out for you.
Right. And so the fact that she went on a big news outlet,
because she didn't have to.
She didn't have to. And there were loopholes, or there were holes in her story. People are now bashing her. And let's say she is telling the truth, but has forgotten some of the details. Like, that is her reliving that trauma and getting victim blamed and getting shamed for what happened to her.
And that's why a lot of people don't come forward.
Because exactly.
If you've ever watched, and I know this is kind of like not part of it, but let's say you've watched Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit. Think about that. Think about having to live through something so vile and so traumatic, and then having to tell the doctors it, and then having to tell the police about it, and then having to go to you're having to repeat that story over and over and over. And then some things, they do come up while you're going through reliving that whole situation over and over and over again. And then let's say you have to go to a therapist. You're having to tell the story again. So understand that when there is a victim, because I understand that there have been some false allegations in the past of other people.
Right.
But when this person is going on a major, major platform and talking about the abuse, believe them for what they are whenever you can. Yes, everything has to be proven.
Right. And at the end of the day, like, it's not our job to like
figure it
out, because it is going through the courtrooms. It is being litigated in the court of justice. So like, we have no business saying she's right, she's wrong, they're right, they're wrong, they're guilty, not guilty, right?
Yeah.
But
unless we're on the jury. And unless we know exactly what happened, which thank God I don't know exactly what happened. But it is our responsibility to give people grace and be open to all of the information, because there's so much information. Like, it's really hard to keep up. But it's like, keep in mind the victims, keep the victims in your prayers, because they're having to relive this trauma and having to go against people who are very influential and powerful. Yep.
And that's very intimidating. So yeah, we're definitely going to be updating y'all when we can, but that whole situation was really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're going to move on from that, because it's getting me in a bad mood right now.
She's triggered.
I'm triggered, man. And then another thing that might trigger y'all, the Angela and Christian Nodal wedding.
Dude, so much has come out of that. We're kind of
I'm like,
we're kind of in the middle of it.
Bad.
So because of the wedding, so first half, right?
Yeah.
Because of the wedding, Angela has gotten booed. She's also lost a lot of friendships. Let's talk about her and Becky G performing at the Latin Grammys. Ooh. That space in between wasn't just because that was the way they were supposed to stand on stage, you know? So she's lost a lot of opportunities. She was Woman of the Year on a magazine in Mexico, and everybody signed a petition to get her off of the magazine. So she's not doing too well, y'all. Like she is having to deal with a lot of the backlash, and so is Christian ultimately.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way that it's being handled, she's still in the mindset of a child. She's not that
Isn't she
much.
20?
She's like 20 years old. He's
yeah,
25.
she is a child. That's why.
So she's not really, but then again, they say ultimately that she always gets her way. She's one of those kids or one of those people because Bebe
Can we call
Aguilar.
it nepotism?
Yes. So she's the type of person to always get her way.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think about it, I'm just like, well, is the fault really on her or is it on him? Because he's the man that's in the middle.
Right. And yes, I love that you brought that up because it always seems to be like the woman. And Cristian Nodal does not have a clean track record.
He don't have a clean face. His face is fucking tattooed. Like, his whole personality is just a walking track record. You know?
Yes,
and
you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
At this point, I can't say that I defend her, but at the same time,
we can't just blame her.
It's not just her
fault because
he
it
stepped
takes two
into
to
it
tango.
too. Yeah, he
Takes
stepped
two to
into
tango.
it too. So it's on him. But Kasu making her debut back on the stage, looking fine as hell.
Yeah.
Like she looks so good.
I know she was twerking on stage.
I know.
I was like, okay, baby,
And little booty shorts, little booty shorts.
I know those little micro shorts are coming back, and she wore the hell out of those micro shorts. I'm not a fan of the micro shorts.
Yeah, I can't.
They look like diapers to me.
Yeah. Some people can pull them
but
off.
some people can pull them off, and Kasu is one of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was amazing. And so the whole Becky G thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Becky G shared a picture of Kasu on her story, which a lot of people are speculating to say, I'm with her. Like, I'm on her side.
I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't blame her because Becky actually went through like a cheating scandal herself.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, you know, and Becky G's always been about like, you know, women are on top.
Right.
We don't need these dusty, crusty ass men.
Musty ass. Tatted ass faces.
You like that one, right?
His face ain't clean.
No,
dude,
so Kasu coming back on the stage,
yeah,
looking really amazing.
sounding amazing. Yeah, and her people backing her up. Mwah. We
Yes.
love it. We love it. All right. So that one was a green. Moving on. And this one, y'all, was on our silent episode of Spicy Takes.
Yes.
This is the Mike Tyson versus. You didn't even finish it versus Jake Paul.
All you had to say was Mike Tyson, and I'm already.
And
speaking of diapers,
also agree.
Yes,
It was bad. It was
terrible.
a
dance. It wasn't even a fight.
Girl, you can't even call that a dance. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, man. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why are you gonna hype this up? Like for what, a year? 2 years? 2 years. We're hyping this up. And then for you to just be like, well, I got into the ring just because, you know, I gotta pay my bills and stuff. Get your...
It's like, we understand. As performers, yes, I got on that stage to pay my bills.
Yeah.
100%. But when you are held at such a caliber,
holding a legacy,
you hold a legacy, and you are past retired.
This guy bit somebody's ear off.
For those of you
like, sorry,
I know that's why the biting of the glove was always like the biggest thing that people were like, why is he biting his glove? Why is he biting? Because that's a tick that he has, y'all.
The only thing that came good out of this whole thing is when they were doing the press and Jake Paul stepped on his toe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I thought you were gonna say something.
I already know. The freaking
I thought she was gonna say the only good thing that came out of this is us seeing Mike Tyson's ass.
Hell no. There's not enough like
the nalguita.
there's not enough Lysol in the world to clean that image out of my head. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. No. Mike Tyson basically knocked the hell out of Jake Paul during like whenever they're kind of like post up next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing that came good out of the whole situation.
Yeah.
That's
it's
it.
Like, to me, if you're past a certain age, you have no business getting in the ring with a 27-year-old.
Nope.
Like,
and that one at that.
And that one at that. And this might be an unpopular opinion. I said it on that take, and I
she
was
gonna
like, you know
say
what?
it
Maybe
again.
God was like, girl, that was too spicy. You should have said that. I'm cutting it off.
He muted you.
He muted me. But I'm sorry if that was the case. I'm going to say it. Jake Paul should have knocked Mike Tyson out.
I mean, especially if that's what everybody's paying for. You had that stadium full. Jerry Jones was like, I'm making some money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making money.
The rich people's pockets are getting richer.
Yeah.
But I just say that because Jake Paul literally was
That's all it was.
Smack,
That's all it was.
4 rounds. I'm gonna knock him out. Blah 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 blah. And like you said, it was a dance because I don't think Jake Paul
could do it.
And it couldn't. And not because he couldn't physically do it, but I think it's because he probably felt a little bad. You know, like I mean, I came out
That's
pretty
like
strong
hitting
with
your
that
grandpa,
statement.
man.
I know.
That's like putting on the gloves with your grandpa.
Yeah. So I understand on a respect standpoint where he's like, no, you know what? He's the GOAT. Like Mike Tyson
He's not a GOAT right now.
Beat him up. You know, I could see that side of things, and I'm like, I respect that too. If that's the direction you chose to go,
but you wasted everybody's time.
However, it was a money grab. It was a waste of time.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix definitely made some money. Do you remember that meme that we posted about Selena Gomez with all the money?
Yeah.
We're going to take Selena Gomez off and just put the N right there. That was Netflix.
Right.
And Netflix is doing the Christmas special as well. So Netflix is just blowing up. Netflix is going to be here for a long time.
They're also doing the halftime show with Beyonce. They're going to be streaming that, apparently. Which I guess will see. Kind of the scrolling thing, the little loading dot thing.
Right. Yeah. No,
Dude,
there's like rumors.
Get your streaming service together before you start doing live shit. Just get it together. That's all I want for Christmas this year, Netflix. That's it.
All I want for Christmas is for y'all to work. Please. But there are rumors that the lawyer defending the victims in the Diddy and Jay-Z trials, that he's going to put out some information, like a bombshell type of information. And a lot of people are speculating that Beyonce is a part of it, and that's why he's doing it on Christmas, because she's doing the halftime special. Again, allegedly, all rumors.
So speaking of the lawyer situation, so the lawyer that's defending Diddy right now, if y'all haven't heard, or if you're not in the United States, because ultimately...
Or you're just over it by this point and said, you know what, 2024, I'll see y'all in 2025, and y'all ain't trying to tap in no more. We get it. Here's the information that you've missed if you haven't been up to date.
Yeah, so there was a murder, basically a killing, assassination of the CEO of United Medical Healthcare. By this guy. His name is
Luigi Maggiani.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that, so that's why I was like, his name is Luigi. But the lawyer that is defending Diddy is married to the lawyer that's defending
Luigi,
and so
which I think is
bad.
A
lot of people have a lot of mixed emotions about the assassination of the CEO. If you have kept up with the story, or if you've kept up with anything that's going on, Luigi actually explained why he did it.
Yeah, he wrote a whole manifesto. He told the feds hey, I respect what you do. I think you guys are doing a great job. I'm not going to waste your time with circles and puzzles. No, I did it.
Yeah, he came forward.
I did it
immediately. Well, he was found at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania.
See, that's the part that trips me out, because I think Luigi Maggiani, he is smarter than people think.
He is
an Ivy League boy.
Yeah.
He has an IQ that is way higher than mine. And
Valley Victorian.
Mm-hmm. And he gets caught at a McDonald's. I think there's something deeper here. I think that with his manifesto that he wrote, because he also wrote that the reason he did that is because to a certain point, violence has to be the answer.
Mhm.
And in order for people to wake up, in order for people to get the justice that they deserve, evil people, in his case, the CEO of the healthcare, I'm like, I don't agree with what he's saying, but he's like,
There was reasons.
there needs to be violence, and I'm going to be the person to do that.
Yeah, basically.
And so because of that manifesto, people are, well, they've been on his side because there's just been so many different images of the killer.
Yeah, I think the healthcare system has failed a lot of people, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of people are definitely desperate. I think it's out of desperation that people go into violence because they feel like that's all they have left. And so it's a very mixed situation, you know? You can have the understanding of why people do the things that they do, but it and morality stance doesn't necessarily sit well with
Right.
other people,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So, you know, on an emotional, empathetic way, I understand. On a morality level, I probably wouldn't have done it that way specifically, but,
Yeah.
you know, he felt like he needed to be heard, and so have many other tens of thousands of
Yeah. And
people.
it just highlights how broken our system is from like all aspects of the word, you know, like the justice system, the healthcare system, the government at this point, you know,
Yeah.
like who do we trust? A lot of people don't know who to trust anymore because there's just so many different information coming out. I'm gonna add another one of the topics just because it kind of goes along with this, like aliens being real. The government saying that aliens are real, I think it's a good thing. But
I'm undecided on that one.
I know, I'm like, I'm gonna go good because, and you can tell me why it's bad. I was like, they shouldn't have done that. Like, I have mixed emotions about that too.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because that way a lot of the people who have been saying this can be validated. I know we had a conversation of like feeling some type of way for like a whole year because you have an intuition and you kind of have a feeling and you're like, man, I don't know. And people are calling me crazy because I'm speaking out on my experience and what I've been through. And like, I've seen a lot of documentaries on aliens and alien sightings and like people coming forward with their stories. And every single one of them says they don't feel comfortable speaking about it because the first time they spoke about it, they got made fun of.
Yeah.
But it was a real experience that they went through. And so I think that it's good because it validates a lot of those people. I think it's, and on the other side of things, I think it can be bad because then conspiracy theories that aren't true can get blown up even more.
More so. Yeah.
So it's like there can be just way more misinformation coming out of it because now we know they're real. So now everybody's like, oh, that's an alien. That's an alien. You're an alien.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like it could create mass chaos, but the validation it gives the people who have encountered mysterious supernatural beings can be validated. So
yeah.
But you never know who you can trust anymore because they've been
thing.
holding that shit back
Yeah.
for years and years and years. And now they're like, yeah, they're real.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to validate it, right? And then it also makes sense that they are real and we're just now finding out that they are real. But girl, I got anxiety. So I'm just
like, so that bad.
All of the movies that we've seen, we don't know what these things look like unless they do, you know? All of the movies that we've seen about
extraterrestrial beings attacking.
They're not always the best things. It's like first thing I think about is Independence Day. That's the first one. Like, I'm just like, please, like, I have done nothing to no one. Leave me alone. Leave me out of it. You want to attack somebody, go attack the government. Like, I didn't do nothing.
Right.
I'm just here
coexisting. One of the good ones, I promise.
And so I think it's cool. I think it's just really the only alien experience that we've ever had that wasn't necessarily a bad experience as far as animation or movies go is Stitch.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
Lilo and
That's the only one.
Stitch. That's true.
But yeah,
Aw.
sorry
But
we
yeah.
differ, but
No, it's all good. I mean, I brought it up because like connecting it with the Luigi Maggiani thing is like people don't trust the government anymore. And we'll talk about the debate too, and all of those things. Like people don't trust anymore. Bottom line, and so when you have a highly intelligent person commit an act of violence, it definitely stirs up a lot more than just a ban on guns.
yeah,
And not just more security. It's like, no, we have a deeper problem here. And unfortunately, Luigi has unmasked that problem by using violence, which I do not condone. However, like,
he felt like it was necessary.
he felt it was necessary. And if he did the crime, he better do the time. That's all I got to say.
Yep, at this point.
And he knew what he was doing. He knew that that was going to happen. And I think that I think this is all allegedly. I'm just thinking here out loud, but I think that he purposely got caught. I think that that was like his part of the plan. And I think that he purposely got caught at a McDonald's because we know that McDonald's has a lot of agencies in different places and has become a corporation that has monopolized the fast food industry.
Didn't they find Monopoly money in his backpack? I'm just saying.
So I think that
saying.
this is just one tiny block. Like I feel like we're in Gotham right now. I feel
For
like
real.
there's gonna be a Batman coming out of here at some point. Luigi Maggiano is like the first, like he's like the Riddler. And
No.
he's gonna leave clues everywhere. So yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here, but I think that Luigi is very strategic. I think that he is not just a cold-blooded killer. He should do the time for the crime committed, but I don't think it's over yet.
Nope. Stay tuned for the next season, and
Yeah,
we're definitely going to be
seriously.
talking about it
Seriously,
for sure.
And then the lawyers being connected, I think it's bad because it's just like
You're going to be talking about cases.
legally they're not supposed to. Legally, they're not allowed to do that.
But
so I hope that they're not. But
by law, if you're married, you can have marital, basically.
Yeah, and see, they're monopolizing the justice system.
Yep.
So a lot of monopoly stuff going on here. So
we'll see.
Yeah, literally stay tuned for 2025 because this ain't over. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I think.
I think the next couple of ones we'll just kind of give our opinion real quick.
Yeah. So the Olympics, I think they're good.
I think they were good. I think they went really well this year.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of good things.
I still haven't seen this, but it ends with us.
I haven't seen it either. I know it just got on Netflix, so if y'all are wondering, we did talk about this one on one of the spicy takes, and just the way that the movie was handled direction wise, that's what I would think is really bad.
Yeah. Promotion.
And then,
bad.
And then Justin Baldoni actually finally came out after all of it was said and done and was just like he didn't feel comfortable on set. So you'll hear a lot more of that aspect. So whether you decide to watch it, whether if you already watched it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch it just yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it too. I'm like not ready to pull the trigger on that one.
I'm not ready either because I still have mixed emotions of like whether to support like Blake Lively through it and like because she's going to get profit
and
out
then
of
also
my
like
view.
the triggering of
DV and yeah. Moving on. The Eclipse. That was really good.
Pretty badass, honestly.
It was amazing. I am so happy that we got to experience that in our lifetime.
Yeah. Who's to say when it's gonna happen again? And actually see it, dude.
Yeah.
You know how people are talking about, oh, this star is gonna fall this way and this comment. And I'm like, when?
And then you go outside at 4, 3 in the morning and you're like, bitch, where?
Or like the moon's changing color, right? The moon changing color.
Oh, yeah. Like
it's going to be a blue moon. It's going to be a red moon. It's going to be a pink moon.
Blood orange.
Yeah. Go get out of here. Get out of here with all that. I got to see the actual eclipse for the very first time. Like, I have this really cool picture of Marco just staring up at it. Aww. And like, you can kind of see where it crosses over. And I have this really cool video too. I put Interstellar behind it.
Oh.
I thought I was
Perfect.
being cool.
Perfect. The debate, I'm gonna lump these together. The debate with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump slash Donald Trump's assassination attempts and the election. I'll lump all of these together.
They all have the same.
They all have the same vibe, the same mood.
We obviously know who was elected as president. And as I said in the episode that we did talk about, because I did get a lot of controversy for posting who I voted for, all of it is where it is. You know, Donald Trump is now the elect president. So we'll just see how it goes. I know a lot of people are in fear and a lot of people are not feeling super great about it. I know we kind of had to take a second. We had to take like a couple of days.
About 2 weeks to process the information and just like, let me get my ducks in a row before January happens and I can be good. And because I prepared, I'm feeling confident that I can continue to thrive in the political climate that we are in. It was pretty bad. Like the whole thing, really. The whole thing was just pretty bad. And then I think TikTok is going to be banned.
Yeah, TikTok is leaving in January, I believe.
I think January 19th. So I got a little taste of it before it goes, and people are trying to fight that. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, not looking great for the American people.
No, but I mean, the people that you do follow on TikTok, they do have other, and this is what I've been noticing as because I am like a avid user for TikTok, addicted. Ultimately, the people that you follow on TikTok, they do have other media streams that you can get into. So the people that you follow on TikTok, make sure you follow them on Instagram, on Twitter, on X, on Facebook,
there's like a
YouTube,
new app, Lemonade or something like that.
Something like that. But
it's like a Pinterest,
at
TikTok.
this point, I'm like,
bro, I'm not trying to. Like, I knew this was gonna happen with TikTok because it happened with Vine. I'm like, as soon as I got into Vine, like, it got taken away.
Musically,
and then I was like,
too.
Of course, if I go Musically, and I'm like, of course, when I start using TikTok, they're banning it. It's just like, and this is just gonna happen because we have a lot of technological advances and like.
Well, it's also because a lot of people are just spitting out what they actually believe in or what they think, and we're using a lot of freedom of speech, and I guess there's like a limit. You know,
I will say when I first joined TikTok and I was scrolling, I was a little scared.
Yeah, there's a lot of
like what the content
stuff.
that was being pushed out, and it was like, holy crap, the amount of misinformation that is on that app.
I think that's another reason why they're banning it.
Is incredibly disturbing.
Yeah,
incredibly disturbing. And I was like, you know what? On one side, I'm okay with them banning TikTok because, like, it's scary to know that people can put whatever they want on that app. And it's
believable.
And people will believe it.
It's like the video version of Wikipedia. So,
I'm just like,
be knowledgeable of what you listen to and what you talk through. Go look it up if you're not sure.
Yes, do your own research.
Do your research, man.
On people just talking out of their ass.
And Wikipedia is not a source that you want to use because it can be changed.
Yeah, anybody can go in there and change the information. So, use reliable sources. Make sure that the person that you are listening to has credible sources themselves that you can go back to and, proofread and do whatever. I'm guilty of literally being like, oh, shoot, did you hear about this? And then being like, oh, that was wrong. And that happened a few times to where I was like, oh, I can't just trust what people say, and I need to do my own research. But
a lot of these younger kids, they don't know that because they think they can trust everything.
Speaking of TikTok, the very demure, very mindful.
Yes, Jules.
I think that was a very good little ditty. I know it came out on what was it, Gilmore Girls?
It came out on everything. There was a lot of people like quoting it. I'm very demure, very. We actually quoted it a couple of times.
I use it. It's in my vocabulary.
Yeah,
very mindful, very demure.
It's one of those things. And then I think there was some part of it that people were trying to take away that from Jules, and it's like y'all give people just let them be,
because there was like a whole lawsuit or something.
There's a whole thing about canceling creators or canceling celebrities, and it's like,
I hate cancel culture.
Or like, yeah,
cancel culture.
That was
really
another
bad.
thing with TikTok too, is that I'm noticing that a lot of people are like, hey, what if we just ignore celebrities? And so
Yeah, that's so messed up.
it's like, why are we bullying people in 2024 in the year of our Lord? Like, what are we doing? Why? You know, there's a couple of them that I can understand. I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's like, now listen, I don't follow celebrities all that often.
Yeah.
Unless I'm a real stan of yours. Like, I'm not going to really follow celebrities because I do agree that there is a line that a lot of people cross nowadays where they're like worshiping like celebrities.
Idolatry, basically.
And like just doing all of this, like, I don't know, making them grander than what they are. Like, y'all, celebrities are people.
Just like us.
Just like us, you know? And so I know that there's a fine line between like, and then, connecting Chapel Roan into this.
She's a human being. She may be a very
loud.
She may be a very loud-minded person, but there's a lot of us that are loud-minded. She just has the guts to say it.
And she has a platform to say it too. So yeah, it's just like, I think that the whole like harassing celebrities and canceling celebrities and doing all this stuff.
We got better things to do.
Yeah, we got way better things. Like, focus on yourself. 2025, how about we all just get better, be better, do better.
Yeah. This time around.
Like,
we say it every year, but this time around, let's actually put some action behind it.
Let's put it into practice
and go touch some fucking grass. Like, go do something else.
Seriously. So, like, TikTok, we'll see what happens with that, because y'all know there's always
yeah.
They
but
say
in the
one
meantime,
thing and then it happens a different way. I don't know. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, NFL. I think it was good.
I thought it was great. I had a great time. A lot of people.
To all the haters say that Taylor Swift don't deserve to be there, like she's taken away from the football.
You at least got your wife and kids to watch it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. But maybe that's why they were upset. They're like, no,
this is my time away.
This is my time to be away with the boy.
Yeah. No, but I noticed that a lot of people have bought more of his jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're helping regardless of anything. You have little teeny boppers that are listening to the music that are just like, that's Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But he's also an actually great football player.
And great human.
And a great human all around.
So
like,
charismatic.
It's boosted him up. He's doing shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, leave him alone.
Girl, you know what I heard? His brother has a new Christmas song out with Stevie Nicks.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, it's
boosted everybody in their family. It's boosted Taylor Swift with her tour. Like, just let people be going back to it. Do better. Let them be happy. I don't understand why people are so annoyed by the lovey-dovey nature. We need to see more of that.
Yeah, I think love needs to be the forefront of 2025. Like, we need to show affection to each other. We need to be open with each other. We need to listen and not judge.
Oh yeah, we listen and we don't judge. Even though some of that is
even though we're over here talking shit.
It's factual though. It's factual.
No, it's like we're definitely giving our opinions, but it's like we have to look at both sides. Every time I talk about anything or bring up other people's business, because obviously it's not mine, but I'll sip it. I will look at every single side of the story and try to like understand both sides, because I think life and human behavior is so nuanced that there isn't just one way to do things, and there isn't just one way to react. There isn't just one way to be. And if somebody makes a mistake, like, that's their lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And it's not my job to like put more fire on that. It's just like, sometimes I will say it how it is and what I see and feel about the situation. But yeah, with respect.
Disrespectfully. No, we're giving opinion. It's never a judgmental thing. It's ultimately how we feel about the topic. That's the way I like to describe it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I'm not judging you, but I do think that
we can learn a thing or two.
Yeah, at the end of the day. But
the last one, ending on a positive note, the Jamie Foxx Netflix special.
We did say we were going to talk about that one. Yes. Dude, it's supposed to be like, I went into it thinking, oh, it's a comedy special.
It'll be funny.
It's gonna be so funny. I'm gonna laugh my ass off. I was crying, like, just crying my eyes out.
Literally, like, maybe 2-3 minutes in, I'm like already tears in my eyes. Like, I'm like, no, bitch, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Like, don't cry, don't cry. You heard this was gonna be sad, but like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
He tells his story as, and we won't spoil it too much because I do think that there's a lot of special little nice things that are in there. But he talks about almost dying.
Mm-hmm.
Almost dying. He makes a couple of comments about who it could have possibly been, and you just use your imagination to kind of figure that one out. But this guy had to learn to walk again.
Yeah.
This guy had to learn to eat by himself again. We don't take into consideration that we can wipe our own butts. And I know that sounds weird, but that's something he talks about too, about having to depend so wholeheartedly on a person we don't even know by Adam. You know, it reminds me a lot of kind of what my band brother is going through right now.
I know.
You know, he's still struggling. He's still in recovery, and every day there's got to be something new that he does. And he is in physical therapy, occupational therapy. He still can't talk. He still has trouble talking. He can't move the right side of his body because it's, you know, he's got dislocated shoulder. Wow. And so Jamie Foxx's story goes really hard for me. And I think that's why I got extremely emotional because there are things that you can laugh at. And then you kind of have to think about it like, whoa, dude, like, am I allowed to be laughing with this whole thing?
Right. Like, he did such an incredible job of finding humor in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
And I think as human beings, like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it. Like, y'all need to watch it.
Well, I think one of my favorite parts that he says, and I'll just say this, is like, if I can be funny,
that's what I was gonna say.
I can stay alive.
I can stay alive. If I can be funny, I can stay alive. And so it's like, yeah, in any situation, like being able to find humor and like look at life as like, wow, this was a lesson I needed to learn. And I think that that's his whole focus of like, wow, I needed to learn the lesson. And this was how I was able to do it. Another thing that, okay, I'm gonna say it. Another thing that, that really impacted me, he was like, why me? Like, why me? I am Jamie motherfucking Foxx.
That's what he says.
And
yeah.
Why me? You know, and he's having all of these intimate conversations with God. And in that conversation with God, he says, well, Jamie, those other people that you are talking about don't belong to me.
That hit. It was hard. It was hard, so that part.
Hard, because it reminded me like, God does not give you trials and tribulations because he wants to tear you down. No, he gives you these things because he knows that you can handle it and you can rise above it and you are going to thrive and be in a better position because of it.
But also, getting a little bit more on that and then we'll wrap it up for sure. God doesn't do these things as punishment.
No, absolutely.
It's never that. I know a lot of people are just like, well, why couldn't he heal this person from cancer? Why did this person have to die at such a young age? Why this and why that? God does these things, and in his timing, he also heals in his way to bring you back closer to him.
Amen.
You know, and so as I've been really diving deep, because I've been kind of like getting into my spirituality a little bit more because of everything that's going on. It's scary, you know? Yeah. But it's true. God doesn't do these terrible things because he wants you to suffer. He wants to show you where you need to put your faith in. And so, yeah. So when he was talking about his conversations with God, it was funny. It was funny because he's like, I just talked to God like how I would talk to anybody. Like I just talked to him like out loud, and I'm like, God. And he's like, what? And he's like, it's hilarious.
It's a great show. You guys have to tune in for sure. It brought me to tears. It was a great ministry and like basically testament of God's work here with us, through us, with us, for us.
And ironically, we didn't know we were watching it at the same time.
I know.
That was crazy.
That was cool.
I had just been scrolling. I was like, this looks good. she texts me not even like a second later. Hey, dude, this episode or this special is on, and it's already got me. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was like, you need to watch it so that we can talk about it on our next episode, because it was just so good. Like from beginning to end, super inspirational, impactful, powerful. And an update on Jamie Foxx, actually, he is back in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
He was out celebrating his birthday at a restaurant, and that's really, really bad. We don't want to hear that. But apparently, this is alleged. This part is alleged, is that the people who were at the recording, they said that he actually made way more jokes about Diddy than
that was released.
aired. And when you watch the special, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. But apparently he made way more jokes about Diddy, and he went out with his family for his birthday, and there were some Diddy supporters.
I see.
At the restaurant, and they were talking smack to Jamie Foxx, and it became into an altercation, and apparently like the Diddy supporters like threw something at Jamie Foxx's face, and that made him go into the hospital.
Yeah, so prayers for him on that, because I mean, this special it was very special. It was very good. I can't say it enough. Y'all need to check it out. It's on Netflix. If you don't have a Netflix account, go ahead and use somebody else's Netflix account, because that's what we do in our household. But that's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
That's not surprising to me after everything that man's been through. Who's a Diddy supporter right now?
Girl, you'd be surprised. I mean,
let
me not say it. Nope, let me not say it.
Yeah.
But you know. Yup. That was our Spicy Takes episode, y'all.
It's been a crazy year.
24. It's been a crazy year, and I'm hoping that next year we'll get better. But a lot of the times I have to remind myself, sometimes things get worse before they get better.
They have to, yeah.
And that's just how life goes, and we gotta continue waking up every day and just doing our best, doing the best that we can do. And we wish you guys the best, the happiest of holidays.
Yes.
Hopefully y'all can turn off all the crazy noise happening around us during this special time.
Come to the Christmas Collective tonight.
Tonight at 7:30, we'll be singing some Christmas carols and getting in the Christmas spirit. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok
for right
at
now.
Least the next 4 weeks or
We're
so.
also on YouTube, and if you would like to reach out to us, we have our personal handles that are going to be right here, but we also have an email account, wittybanter@gmail.com. And yes.
Yeah, that's really, really good. And we have a season 2 in the works for you guys. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have any special person you want to be interviewed, let us know, because we are going to be scheduling interviews for the next season here. And if you would like to sponsor an episode, please reach out. We would love to collaborate with you. And as always, we love you guys, and see you next year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Bye.